This is a kin Porsche PODFIC of the fic Lamb to the Slaughter by Solitary Bird. Read for you by Solitary Bird. This fic is rated T and was originally a prompt for Wumptober 2025. Porchay wakes up to find Porsche gone and nothing left in his place to explain where he is but a letter. One that could very easily have been placed there by whatever weirdo had wandered in. Maybe Porsche had been kidnapped and forced to write the letter at knife point. Porchay spirals in the living room. It's the most appropriate spot for a meltdown about family safety. What if someone killed his brother and left the letter to hide the evidence of their crime? Had Porsche left it and ran away because he was sick of dealing with their uncle's gambling debt? Why hadn't he taken Porchay with him? Was he sick of dealing with his stupid baby brother too? Porchay knew he was holding his brother back. That was obvious. Porsche had been working 3 jobs, going to university and doing all the adult things that kept a roof over their heads. His uncle was refusing to pick up the phone. Porsche had left 52 voicemails for him, which felt justified. He'd left just as many for Porsche, who was also not answering. Panicking under these circumstances seemed entirely reasonable. Porsche was everything Shay had. If something bad had happened to him, then that meant he didn't have anything. Shay pulled his knees up to his chest on the sofa in the living room with the paper on the seat next to him. True terror was starting to take over. What if Porsche was laying in a back alley somewhere after having his kidneys stolen by some shady back alley surgeon? Shay knew that his brother sometimes sold blood when they were really hard up for cash, and he wasn't all that sure about how legal that was. Did he have to go searching every alley in Bangkok for Porsche? He didn't have time for that. He was already late for school, and Porsche would be annoyed that he was missing lessons out of worry. Today isn't the first time that Porsche hasn't come home. Sometimes the bar work is more than bar work. He'll come home later, smelling of some girl's perfume, probably. Shay isn't meant to know about it, but Porsche has always been bad at lying. It's why Shay is so suspicious of the letter. That and opportunities like that don't just fall out of the sky from nowhere. Not for people like them. If the job offer is real, then there has to be something Porsche isn't telling him. Like a rich old lady that wants an island full of topless men to ogle, or it's a mafia-run money laundering operation. Shay's fingernails are bitten down to the wick. The nail bed stings, sluggishly bleeding into his mouth as he reluctantly leaves the house. He can't stay here. The loan sharks have shown that they're willing to break in when Porsche isn't home, and Shay really doesn't want to be in the house on his own again when that happens. Here will be home by the time that I come home from school, he promises himself. The book bag he uses for school is so heavy that Shay almost tips over as he hoists it up his back in order to put his arms through the straps. Change for his bus ticket clanks in his pocket, but he doesn't spend it, choosing instead to run most of the way to school. He was already late, and maybe if the school administration called, Porsche would pick up, not wanting children's services to get involved with their little family again. Social workers had come to the house before when Porchay had thrown up at school and no one could get in touch with his brother. The whole day Shay all but vibrates in his seat with worry, enough that more than one teacher asks if he's okay. He tries to pass it off his nerves about the entrance exam for the music course he wants to do at university. He's not too sure how well he actually does at passing that off, but he doesn't get called into the meeting about it or sent to the principal's office. So he's going to count that as a win. His walk home is long. Shay intentionally takes a longer loop of the city than he normally does on the way home in order to give Porsche longer to get home. Maybe he needs time to buy the street food Shay likes as an apology for freaking him out. Maybe. The house is empty. Shay goes room to room again, just in case his 2 family members are hiding in a closet or his uncle's room is empty, and in there is literally nothing. As in, there is literally nothing in there. Even the furniture is missing. He must have been waiting for Porchay to leave this morning in order to run away again. Shay stands in the doorway, frozen in horror. His uncle regularly ran away when he found out he'd gotten back in contact with his bad influence friends and returned to the gambling parlours where he had frivoled away so much of their money. He'd do that and come back. Taking furniture wasn't something that had happened before. It feels considerably more permanent. Surely his uncle hadn't done something crazy like sell here off to cover a debt or something. Surely he hadn't done that. The very prospect of eating makes Porchay feel queasy, and the quietness of the house, usually filled with his older brother's laughter, is haunting. It doesn't feel safe. So Shay wraps himself up in a blanket in the living room, draws all the curtains, and triple checks the locks and windows before switching on the TV for background noise. The newsreader laughs at a joke fielded by an elderly weatherman who could be a stand-in for a Santa Claus impersonator. Volume just high enough to not feel like he's trapped in this house alone, just low enough that he can think of a plan to find out what really has happened to Porsche. He has an app that Porsche uses to GPS monitor him, but maybe he can use it the opposite way and track Porsche or his phone down and go from there. It actually works. He may have spent entirely too much time searching through the posts of people with concerning motives for doing what Shay's trying to do, but he does find out how to do it eventually. With a definite location, Shay sets off with some stuff to find his brother. Him being inside of a massive, suspiciously swanky compound is disconcerting, but that doesn't stop Porchay from walking straight up to the guarded gate and demanding to see his here. Author's note, well, that went somewhere I wasn't expecting at all. The end. Thank you for listening.